What is up, guys? Welcome back. Today I'm going to be giving my breakdown of the Misfits 007 card, aka Misfits James Bond as people are calling it. And the first fight that I want to break down is the main event on the prelim. If you don't know what the prelim is, it's basically the free fights that you get to promote the whole card. And the kind of main event of this is Boogie versus Wings of Redemption. Now there are fights previous to this, but they're people that I am not familiar with in the slightest, and I've done my research on them, and everybody kind of seems not to know who they are, especially in the West or in English-speaking countries, because I think a lot of them are from like Spain and all that kind of stuff. So we don't know a lot about them in terms of their actual YouTube career, but also a lot of them just haven't fought before, and a lot of the predictions are just based on whether they look good or if they don't. And I don't really think that I'll be able to give a good prediction if I know nothing about them. But the first fight that I know about is Wings of Redemption versus Boogie. Both fighters coming in at around about £400 each, as this fight has been promoted to be over £800 in the ring, which is absolutely crazy. You know, the main kind of draw of this fight going into this is basically the fact that both fighters are very, very heavily overweight and very, very desperate. Both fighters have went from being very, very successful on YouTube to being irrelevant because of their own mistakes, and they're constantly fighting for relevancy. They're constantly fighting just to kind of keep themselves afloat, even though they are absolute legends in the YouTube game, being kind of the first popular YouTubers, first popular kind of Call of Duty YouTuber with Wings of Redemption. And Boogie, I don't really know what he does, but in terms of YouTube, but I have seen his boxing career. But it's no understatement to say that they're both goats of the YouTube scene. And with that desperation, and with the fact that they're overweight, we have a very interesting fight here, and a fight that's kind of sums up YouTube boxing perfectly, in my opinion. It's basically anybody can get in the ring. We'll give you basic training, you make a lot of money, and you provide good entertainment, but it is also in somewhat of a safe environment. Now I say somewhat of a safe environment because both fighters are very overweight. They don't do a lot of exercise. One of them is in a wheelchair a lot of the time, so it's definitely going to be difficult for them to go up on such a big stage like in the I think it's a Wembley Arena and fight each other at a high pace, high cardio rate. And I think this fight is just going to be purely entertainment. You can hear the excitement in my voice right now. I can barely hold it in. And this fight is free, so anybody can tune in. As I said, it's on the prelim, so anybody can watch this for free on YouTube. Whether you buy the pay-per-view or not, you can see it for free, which is fantastic. Now, Boogie is quite a bit younger than Wings of Redemption, and I think this is going to play a little bit of a factor in this fight. I kind of feel like Wings of Redemption is older, I think he's tougher, and I think he's more of a kind of a tough person out of the two. Neither of them are really particularly tough, but I think he's the tougher one. And I think Boogie's kind of younger. He has that on his side, yes, but I think he's definitely a bit more of a retracted person. He stays inside a lot, you know, He's in a wheelchair. He doesn't have that mentality I think that Wings of Redemption has. I think Wings has the edge when it comes to mentality, and I think Boogie has the edge when it comes down to his youth. Well, I don't think that that's true. You got to question, where's this fight going to go? Are they going to make it past the first round? And seriously, a concern is if they are going to have a heart attack in the ring. Like, this is kind of a fight where it's like, okay, there's not just danger from each other punching each other, but there's danger from the fact that both fighters can potentially die in the ring from a heart attack. You know I would be scared to step in the ring, and both fighters have said they would happily die in the ring if it meant that. I don't think that's true, guys, but it is what it is. I don't think they would be willing to die in the ring, but that's what they're saying, and it's a real potential risk when it comes into it. It's not just the intense exercise that they're not used to, but it's also standing in front of like 20,000 people and performing for probably the first time, all eyes on them. It's going to be very, very intense, especially considering both of them don't really come out the houses that much and don't really interact socially. And that makes me even question whether this fight will go down. And that's a shame, but it's true. Will one of them get scared on the night? Will one of them get scared to the build-up? You know, you hear KSI start to scream. A fight will break down later on another day. You hear all these fans start to scream and each of the fighters start to get aggressive. What will their reactions be to that? I don't know. I don't have the answers to that. But I think if they do get in the ring, well, I know if they do get in the ring, it's going to be entertaining. I will link Keemstar's documentary down in the description. He kind of went over this fight in much more detail. He made an actual documentary about both of them, giving a full backstory and everything to each person, and he personally visited them because he was responsible with his Happy Punch Promotions for making this prelim card, the free card that you get at the beginning. So he made a legendary fight here, so he has more information than I do. But in that documentary, we do see both fighters training a little bit. None of them are taking it too seriously from what we saw. None of them have got like a proper professional coach or anything. But basically they're just in the back garden punching a bag, and that's just about it. Now how is each fighter going to win this fight? Well, they're basically the exact same. One's got a tougher mentality, one's a bit more youthful, but apart from that, they're both the same. And I think the whole kind of aspect of knocking each other out is not going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. But what I do think is going to happen is one of them is going to get exhausted quicker than the other, and whichever one gets exhausted first is going to lose. And whichever one can kind of stand the test of time is going to win. And that all comes down to tactics, game plan, and just cardio going into this, which both guys are not going to be the best, but one will hopefully be better. Now, what do I mean when it comes down to tactics and game plan? Well, if one of them comes in and he's swinging power punches all over the place, he won't stop, he's going crazy, and the other guy's kind of sat behind his guard, not doing too much apart from throwing a few punches, and he waits for the later rounds, I think the person that kind of sticks back a little bit is going to eventually win. He may lose a little bit at the beginning, but I think he will stand the test of time, as I said, and win. So it's whoever can do that, whoever goes into this and is more kind of cautious towards the beginning and takes advantage in the later rounds. But it is tricky to do because sometimes you can just shell up, not throw much in the first round, and then not throw much later on in the fight, and then lose anyway because you didn't throw anything. Or they could shell up at the beginning, not throw much, preserve the energy, and then when they get tired, absolutely go after it and win the fight because the other guy's tired, he's exhausted, and also you've got more energy than him and you're ready to go. And then also the cardio going into this, I kind of see like the first round being the most eventful, and then after that I think Boogie said it in the documentary, it's just going to be a hug off. They're both going to be grabbing onto each other, hugging each other, trying to stay upright, and just trying to stay up in general. But I do have to believe that Wings of Redemption is going to win this fight. As long as he doesn't get too nervous on the night because he doesn't go out much, I think he's got this. I think he's got the power, I think he's got the brains, and I think he's probably slightly fitter than Boogie is. And that is my prediction. I don't know what round it's going to end. I don't see it going all the way. I think it's a 4-round fight, I believe. I don't think it's going to go all the way. I think Boogie's going to give up. I think he's just going to get too exhausted. And that's absolutely fine. Nobody thinks he's a real boxer. We just want to see an explosion at the beginning and then see a conclusion. A knockout would be cool, but it's not necessary. And yeah, just anything really would be good. Just getting in the ring would be entertaining. And I'm super excited for this, guys. Stick around if you want to see more predictions. We get into the better fights like Deji versus Swarms, Salt Pappy versus Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor. Then we got KSI and Joe Fournier going at it at the end. The main card, the one that kind of everybody's excited for. But this is a good kind of first fight on the card, and I'm excited for it. We've got at least 4 good fights with this card, which makes it worth it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you did enjoy. See ya.